And we are live. What is going on with everybody, man? It is your boy, Eric, aka Young God, coming to you live in the Green Dungeon, giving it to you real raw rugged. And usually my next thing would say, I got somebody other line, let me introduce myself, but I don't want you to introduce yourself real quick. I want to give you a special introduction, man. I've only did this for about two people, so you're about the third person to get a special introduction, man.
I appreciate
So the
that.
special introduction is I've interviewed over the past 5 years. I've been doing this rappers, singers, comedians, actors, porn stars, lawyers. I've interviewed about everybody. You know what I haven't interviewed? A wrestler. Every wrestler I've tried to interview, they hit the Euro step, crossed over, goddamn did the Matrix limbo. Hey man, niggas been ducking, man. But I got the first wrestler on here, my boy. Man, Dezmond Xavier, man. Let's give it up for him, man. You know what I'm saying, man?
We really got nobody else really throwing any kind of applause out there.
I had to throw it myself, man. I had to throw
I
it out there
appreciate
myself,
it.
man.
I appreciate it. Thank you for that introduction, man.
I
Appreciate
appreciate you being the first wrestler I get to interview, man. You know what I'm saying? So
it.
that's
And I find
beautiful.
that kind of odd that nobody's willing to work with you. Like it doesn't really make any sense for you to not be able to get your information out there, whether it be your ideologies or or what you stand for. Out there on as many forums as possible, so people get to know who you are. So I find that ridiculous if people aren't willing to work with you.
That is crazy, man. I actually, now that I think about it, he's not a wrestler, but he's in the wrestling world for sure. You familiar with Chris Van Vliet?
Yeah,
That's the interviewer dude. He interviewed all the wrestlers and whatnot. Interviewed him. Good dude. So shout out to Chris Van Vliet, man.
yeah.
But
Listen, man.
hey man, all the other wrestlers, man, some scary ass niggas, man. That's how we gonna put it right there. But nah, man, how you doing today, man?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. I had a pretty relaxed day. I had to take care of some day-to-day things. Took care of some stuff for my wife who's at work right now. And now I got some downtime to be able to take care of this interview and hang out with you.
Hey man, I'm glad you can, man. Because first of all, fan of wrestling, fan of you. You know what I'm saying? My homeboy. I mean, let me tell you, give you a little backstory real quick. So my homeboy, we watch wrestling on this website, and everybody talks about it. And he's like the only person in there that faithfully watches Impact every single week. So he would like. This is around the time when what's their freaking name? It was the whole time they did the angle where God, everything's slipping to me. Where they ran over the kid, LAX. When LAX ran over the kid and they were going and beefing and whatnot. He was like, yo, he was like, this is insane. He was like, you gotta watch this. So I started watching, and I was like, you know what? This isn't bad at all. I'm gonna start watching weekly. So I keep watching weekly. You pop up there. You're great at what you do, man. So I just had to start off before we even get too deeper into what we do, man. You're really good at what you do. You're crazy athletic, like ridiculously athletic, man. Did you always particularly single out wrestling, or did you do other sports growing up?
I tried to do as many things as I possibly could growing up. Wrestling was just kind of the thing that you did as a kid.
Yeah.
Everyone did it as a kid. And everyone kind of had that feeling of wanting to be a wrestler if they were a fan of it. I was just one of the ones that just followed through with it later on in life. But during high school and things like that, I did all kinds of sports. Track. Never really got into basketball because I'm short. And I was real skinny at the time. And football didn't really work out for me as well because, again, short and really skinny. But I found my niche in doing things that really incorporated my athleticism and my creativity, and wrestling ended up becoming the thing that worked out for me later on in life.
That's crazy. I thought you would be like a wide receiver. You give me like wide receiver vibes.
I mean, like when I did play, I was a little bit more of a defensive back. I like throwing my body into people and going out there for some picks and some deflections and things like that. I like disrupting what's happening on the in regards to sports. I like playing defense and I like doing things like that because it's if you can't score, then you can't win. That's what my mindset with is always. So I always like to play defense. So I would have been a defensive back if I would have played, and then on defense I would have. In basketball, I probably would have been playing heavy defense, but
So
it's not my realm. Not my realm.
So that shows me that you're not scared of contact. You like contact.
Nah, man. I mean, like those are the kind of things that you expect when you get into those kind of things, especially with wrestling as well. Like you expect to have some contact. You expect to be hit. With football, it's a whole lot harder of hitting. But with wrestling, you find what works for you as well. So
So
yeah,
playing DB, because when you play DB, like you said, you sometimes you gotta be a headhunter. You gotta be willing to go up head first and just try to run somebody over if they got the ball or whatnot. So going into wrestling, having that mind state where you already prepared for like certain bumps and certain things, like yo, it's gonna hurt, but hey, I'm used to this. I'm used to this contact. Did I like mentally already prepare you?
yeah. Well, you never really get a full understanding of it until you actually do it yourself. Which is what happened the first day that I ever went to training.
Mm.
Ended up signing a waiver, ran some ropes, and took some bumps. They hurt, definitely hurt, because you're not used to just falling.
Yeah.
And once I got used to that, it just became fun. The falling actually became fun. You get used to that impact, and you kind of start to crave it a little bit, and it makes it a little bit of glutton for punishment. But that's whatever.
How long does that take to get adjusted to?
It takes repetition. It took me roughly about maybe a month and a half, almost 2 months of like constant working in the ring for me to actually build up that callus over my body. At least a little bit of a callus on my body to where I can get out there and do the things that I do without it actually really hurting to a high level that stops me from doing that.
That's interesting. So is it like a type of thing where, um, like just to like want to learn wrestling? Like, is that a type of thing where you go on the internet to find that? Did you know somebody in real life that was offering to teach that? Like, how did you know where to find to become a wrestler?
I was in the military, United States Air Force, for 6 years, and I was stationed in the Andrews Air Force Base for like my last four. And during that time period, I was deployed, and a friend of mine reached out to me, letting me know that there was a school that had opened up in the area. And myself, him, who's by the name of Skylar, and Chris, who's one of my best friends, we ended up going to training. I ended up actually staying with it, and it led to that. But the school just happened to pop up in the area. There was some notification of it online. Facebook was the big thing, but a little bit more so of word of mouth, and a little bit of go after it too, because the information wasn't the easiest to find once you did kind of get into that realm.
When did you start taking it seriously though? Like when did you know like yeah, I wanted this to make this like my craft?
Ooh, once I lost everything for it.
Mm.
I mean, like, because with wrestling, just like any other kind of entertainment aspect, like you have to give your all to it. You can't half-ass it. You can't put 1 foot in real life and then 1 foot into this otherworldly type like career field that you're trying to have for yourself. You have to commit 100%. And it wasn't until I moved down here to Florida the very first time when I wasn't properly prepared for it, and I failed horribly, very, very badly, and I lost everything, and put myself in a very, very bad financial spot. And if it wasn't for the good people that I had in my life that really, really kept me on path and pulled me out of some real tough spots, I wouldn't be here with that where I am right now.
That's scary, bro. I never want to get to that point. It's crazy.
But at the same time, and like you have to, like there has to be something that puts you in that position where it's like, hey, I either do this now or I don't. And with the way that like I'm real big on energies. I speak about this every single time that I have any kind of interview. Like I'm very big on energies, and when you're putting out good energy and you're doing your best to make sure that everything is right in the world, that energy is going to come back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once you are, and you have to make sure that you are properly prepared for the opportunities that are presented to you once the cosmos feel that you are ready for it. And if you knock them out of the park, it'll just keep throwing opportunities at you, and you just have to keep taking them out the way that when they keep being presented to you. And if you do that, then at least you have some success. And then after that, that's when you have to realize how to make yourself a little bit more marketable and put yourself to where people actually want to see the things that you're doing, other than just you making waves for the initial stuff that you were doing.
You know, it's crazy. It's like most of the big entertainers, when you hear their story, it's like, oh, I got to this point where I was homeless or I lost everything and I just had to grind it out and I had to become this person that I am today. Hey, man, I'm not gonna lie, man. I look at God sometimes and say, hey, man, I don't need to go through all that, man. That sound cool and all, but hey, man, I just want to get there. So I feel like, I don't know, man, it's something about kind of being like on the edge to where you have to make it. Because I've been there before. It's like being in school, you know, you got bad grades. You don't want to show it to your parents. Or you don't, it pushes you to make those good grades. Because if you're making straight A's, straight B's, and whatnot, you might get a little complacent in that point of your life. But when you start to get that first F, that first D, it's like, whoa, I don't need this on my college transcript or whatnot. So I definitely understand what you're saying. Just at a different level of actually losing money and valuable financial stuff. That's crazy, man. Hey, salute to you for working through that.
I mean, like, and that's one thing that you kind of have to be weary of before you start moving into something that can give you a very unique lifestyle on the back end. In order for you to have that lifestyle to where you're living the life that you want, you're gonna have to go through some shit that you don't. Excuse me, am I allowed to cuss and all that kind of stuff? My bad.
I said nigga like 30 times already. You definitely can cuss on here.
Go. All right, but nah, like it takes you to have to go through some shit in order for you to really appreciate that lifestyle that you end up having. Like, there's times that I just wake up, I look over at my wife, and I smile because I would not have her if it wasn't for me being on the path that I was on to meet her at that point in time. I wouldn't be the man that I am to be able to make the relationship work if I would not have gone through the things that I have. I wouldn't have this apartment, game systems, TV, whatever it is, if it wasn't for going through all that stuff. So when you sit back and you reflect on the things that you've gone through to get you where you are, it really does give you a whole different level of appreciation for the stuff that you do have.
Bro, the most trash stuff in life can bring you some of the most valuable things you can ever find, bro. And it's so weird because you would think like these high points would bring these like best ideologies and concepts, but it's really when you're at your lowest, when you're around people that you usually wouldn't be around or whatnot, you're gaining wisdom, you're gaining new life's perspectives. It's crazy. It's crazy the way the world works, man.
Yeah.
And you tie that with the energy thing. You say that you're really big on energy. Like, talk about that a little bit.
I grew up in the church, just like most black people.
Yeah.
And as I grew up, I started to see the hypocrisy that was in religion, and started looking at the hypocrisy that was in just everyday, like, living.
Yeah.
The way that people say, "Oh, follow this lifestyle, and you will have these results," but then these people are not living that lifestyle as well. Like, why would I want to follow what you're doing and not be to the full level that I want to be? So I started to kind of look at different ways of living, and when you are in those rough places and things like that, you of course start reaching out to religion and things like that because that's what's ingrained in us.
Yeah.
But as you start to grow older, you start to realize that you can kind of manifest your own things if you know how to shift your focus the right way and apply yourself in certain areas. And that's kind of started to pull me away from religion and things like that, and start focusing on things that are, I don't want to say tangible or right in front of me, but like the power of straight up just hard work, going out there and going after it, and then also being that good person so that when you end up meeting somebody that may be a networking opportunity for you, they're not just looking at it as a betterment of their business. They're looking at it as a betterment of a person, or seeing the synergy that you can end up creating by working with them as a mutual benefit thing instead of it just being a one-off type thing. Like, that's where you can have your energy be that thing that speaks for you. Because a lot of people you can't fake your intentions.
Yeah.
You can't fake your motives with the things that you're doing. Some people can, but ultimately it ends up making its way out and showing their true colors. But if you are good, if you have that good heart and you're looking out to help as many people as you can, those people that are in high positions and things like that will want to have other people in those positions as well to help spread that payload and make things a little bit easier for them. And if you can have those good energies and approach that and bring that into the business aspect, which is not really going on anymore. People are very, very cutthroat. They're looking to make their own money, not really wanting to extend a hand to help somebody out that's struggling and things like that. But I'm one to try to help as many people as I possibly can, because when you're pulling people up, those are more people that you can kind of fall back on if you feel weak at a moment. But then there's also other additional people that they can fall back on too, because you've created this tight-knit group of good energies that's going to keep pushing people along.
What you're saying is 200% correct. I literally yesterday I went to this porn star house to interview her. She lived in my city, which is pretty crazy. Didn't think she lived in my city. So that was really wild. So I pull up on her, and in the interview, she started talking about how she's like lonely and she feels like guys only use her to like have sex with her, and she just doesn't feel like of any worth. And I tell her in an interview, I said, well, we should be friends. And she said, oh, you're just gonna use me for my coochie. I said, no, I'm not. I said, I really want to be a friend for you because what she went on like this 3 minute soliloquy and it just sounded really sad. And I was like, you need a hug at this point. So, yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell her. So at the end of the interview, like when the camera's off, she's like, you're just different. Like you just seem like, I don't know, you seem very genuine. And I feel like there's not a lot of genuine people. A lot of people want, like, let's say if I'm trying to interview you, I'm not the type of person like I want to interview you and oh, he's gonna give me views. Like I like having conversation and building relationships and building, just good energy out there. Not I'm gonna use this person for my platform. That's really corny and weird to me. So I'm glad you got that type of ideology. That's the same way I look at stuff.
And that's the thing. Like I mean, this of course, the interview of course is helping. It's beneficial for both of us because it's allowing you to work into my realm and me to work into your realm. Now the thing is we don't have that as the primary focus of it. Like you approached me with this interview a while ago, and again, I apologize for my busy schedule and me not being able to get back.
Even more reason for me to shout you out because you actually stay persistent. Like you hit me back up months later, like yo, I still want to do this. I'm like, I could tell you was genuine just off of that. You could have just ignored it, and I appreciate that. But keep going, my fault.
But it's I know what it feels like to be on that end. To want to reach out to people just because you dig what they do.
Yeah.
Like I feel that there's something that people have to let go of that little pride aspect, and let go of their ego and realize that we're all in this together. Yeah. Like we're here to help each other out. Like if you've reached a certain level, pass that knowledge along, man, because it's going to help progress whatever it is that you are working with. With wrestling, anytime a young cat comes up to me and asks me for information on like how to progress, what moves to do, like how did I do certain things, it's like I will pass along as much information as that person can possibly handle, so that they could later on pass that information too. Like that's how you leave a legacy.
Yeah.
You by having people speak your name or speak your praises long after you're gone. Like it doesn't matter about records. It doesn't matter about things like it matters about what you leave on this earth with, what you leave within people. Because every single time that you end up, even if you bump into somebody in the airport or in the store, that interaction can make and or break their day. A lot of people don't think about it in that aspect, but a simple compliment to somebody as they're walking down the street can stop them from committing suicide later on down the day. Like you never know what a simple gesture of good acts could possibly do.
Where are you from?
I'm from Dayton, Ohio, man.
From Dayton, Ohio. Hey,
Midwest love.
I've been interviewing a lot of people from terrible cities. So Dayton, Ohio, I kind of want to slander it, but I don't know anything about Dayton, Ohio to slander. I've been slandering a lot of cities. I've been on a run of slandering cities.
There's some stuff that you can say about it. There's some bad shit you can say about it. But all right, so a little bit of backstory. I was born in Dayton, Ohio, where most of my family is from. But then we ended up moving to Springfield, which is like 35 minutes north, when I was like 10 or 12. Okay. And that's really the city that actually made me who I am. And because I was exposed to a whole bunch of things at a very young age. I got put into a very good school system because of my intelligence, and also because of the school district that I was in. But it also put me into a certain area to where I was prone to racism.
All right, I knew you was going to go there. I knew you was going to go there with that, yeah.
Very, very young age. So it kind of put me in a very odd position mentally where I'm just trying to figure myself out, because I was the only black kid in my school up until the 4th grade. And things were very odd. And then once I ended up moving from that portion of Springfield to the southern end of Springfield, which was prominently black, I received it on the other side because I was light skinned. That was that time period where it was team light skin, team dark, and team light skin didn't want to really team up. So everybody was kind of, I was a new kid. I had a broken leg at the time, so I wasn't able to get out there and play sports to connect with people that way. So I had art, and that was my little safe haven and things like that. And I ended up making some friends that helped later on solidify my love of wrestling.
So did the black kids like what were they saying about you? Like were they like Like, what were the
Oh,
insults from the black kids?
I was whitewashed.
You
I
was
was
a
a
white one. So that's
whitewashed.
what I was gonna ask you. I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
whitewashed Uncle Tom.
goodness gracious.
I talk too proper. I enunciated almost all the syllables in most words. We know the difference between we know the difference what people will be saying and things like that. But
Yeah.
until you actually experience that, you don't understand racism between your own race. Like it hurts. It's a very, very terrible thing for somebody to have to go through. But at the same time, it kind of it lets you know that it makes you look at yourself. And when you are able to take a look at yourself and evaluate yourself, not in I wouldn't say a bad aspect, but just like an overall look at yourself, you can start seeing personality traits and things like that. And you can see your strengths, you can see weaknesses and stuff like that. So I thank God that I went through all of those things at a young age, because it made me start thinking about myself instead of just going through the motions of like school, sports,
Yeah.
girls, things like that. Like I was more so focused on myself, and it put me in a position where I could start planning for the future and wanting to start doing things that later on got me to where I am now.
Bro, and everything, I swear to you, like 30 minutes ago, I was just thinking about self-hatred. And I was thinking about like a white person being racist to you, compared to a black person calling you like a coon or Uncle Tom, and you know you're not one. And I was thinking, I honestly think when the black person says it to you, it really hurts more, because that's like one of you, and it's like, bro, like we're supposed to be on the same team. Like if a white person saying it, it's like, okay, it's messed up, but still, but it's like you are, you know what I'm saying? That sucks, man.
It hurts. It really hurts, because like you don't, especially being young, because you don't know where you fit in. Like you hang out with the white kids because like you society says that's what we should be. We should be striving to be in the best of the best and things like that. And oddly enough, that's what a lot of people not of color, I'll say that, are not in those kind of areas. So when we are put into that kind of area and we end up picking up those personality traits and things like that and moving over into the I guess quote unquote the non-sophisticated side of things, it makes it stand out in a completely different way, and it's not seen as a good aspect of. And I wish that would change too, because like there's nothing that determines somebody's blackness. Like it in no way should like if somebody spoke I would say proper English, and they had black skin, if they went into a racist area, they're still going to get the exact same treatment as if they spoke nothing but Ebonics or were speaking a language directly from Africa. It doesn't matter. Like everything is seen as skin value, at face value, and I feel that there needs to be a deeper look into a lot of things and start looking at people's moral fibers instead. Because I've come across so many people that have helped me in my career that were not black. Because a lot of black people in entertainment, they have the crab mentality, where if you start to get a little bit of success, let me either ride your coattails or prevent you from getting that because I can't get it. Like, and that's something that has to change, not just in the black community, but in life, period. Like, we have to get back to that uplifting of wanting to help anybody that's out there doing good, and hope that it later on benefits everyone as a whole, because that's ultimately what we're looking to do, and try not to be as selfish, because being selfish will have benefits in a short-term period, but it will not give you the long-term results that you really want.
Man, I love my black people, but it's just some things that happen, like you're saying. Like I said this literally last night. Black people hate to give other black people credit sometimes. Like they will they will like either steal something, or they just like not acknowledge it. And it's like, yo, like we're supposed to be all this together. And like you said, it's that like I don't want you to get the one up on me. You doing the same thing I'm doing. I don't want to give you the advice. Like let's say if you talk to another black wrestler, and let's say you're one of those type of people, you might not tell them like, hey, you should probably do this. You'll just be like, oh, okay, that was good. But you could actually help him with some advice. But it's like, nah, I don't want him to. That's messed up, man. So yeah. It's one of those things where I don't know, it's wild, and you would know more because you're deep in the wrestling community. But man, for wrestling,
it doesn't matter what career field you're in. You can be working at Walmart, and you'll still have the exact same effects. Like if there's somebody that's striving to be the best Walmart worker that they could possibly be, because there are people that just want to do that. If there's somebody that's striving to be the best that they can be in that, there's going to be somebody that's putting them down because of it. But like, it could be somebody that's a little bit more senior that knows a quicker way of doing something to get them a better result, but they're holding back that information because they just want to see them work extra hard because it looks good. Like, no, help somebody. Make things more cost effective, make things more productive, make things easier for everybody so that we all can benefit from having a little bit of leisure later on the other half.
You being a wrestler, you see the crowds more than I do. And I'm pretty sure when you see the crowds, you don't see as many black people. That they're not the majority in the crowd, right? Is that safe to say, right?
It's starting to change, man.
Really?
I can admit it is starting to change. I mean, wrestling itself is changing in regards to what fans are willing to do with it. Wrestling is still taboo, but taboo is not taboo anymore. So if you like the off-the-wall things, it makes you stand out more, and that's something that people are really starting to really take hold of. They're really starting to embrace the things that they love and not worrying about what society says, because they understand that there are other people that enjoy the exact same things as them to the exact same degree. Wrestling fans, they are fanatics. Like, they believe, they love, and they care about this. I've had people drive 9 hours just to see a show.
That's crazy.
I've had people fly across the country to see a show, across the Atlantic from the UK to see a show, and like those are the kind of people that you love entertaining.
Yeah. And
it doesn't matter what skin color that they are, because they are enjoying what you're giving them. Now, in going back to what you were saying from before, there are a lot more people that are coming out, a lot more black people coming out of the woodworks, exposing that they're wrestling fans, because niggas love wrestling.
They do.
Niggas love wrestling.
They do.
And it goes back to a lot of the things that we're prone to seeing, violence, drama, and things like that. So we're naturally gravitated towards it. But then incorporate athleticism, incorporate attractive people, and it gives you additional things to kind of bring you in that pull you away from the things on a fundamental level that make us like wrestling. And then you start really getting attached to it on an emotional level. You start connecting with people's characters. You start connecting with storylines, and that's what leads to people having like serious fandoms over the people that are out there doing wrestling. Same thing that happens with musicians. Same things that happen with anything that has a bit of a fan base. And that's one thing that people have to really remember to do is create something that people can attach to, because that's how you allow fans to really, really connect with you, outside of you just giving them a product that they can connect with on a moment. Because if you can have that characteristic trait that they connect with, and they can look to you for advice or inspiration, now you're helping them with their life. And that's that a lot of people in the entertainment industry don't really understand that they have the power to do, and that is to help people get through very, very difficult situations, because when they feel alone, because a lot of times they are alone.
Yeah.
And people that are alone in those aspects look to people that they idolize, or they look up to for inspiration and motivation and something to help get them through those rough spots. And I'm honored to be in the kind of position that I am, to be able to do that for people that I don't even know. Yeah. People that hit me up on Instagram and Twitter saying, "Dog, I appreciate everything that you do." And then later on, they ended up hearing like an interview like this, and they're like, "I really appreciate everything that you do," because they now see that I'm somebody that wants to help the world. I don't care what skin color you are, as long as you want to help people, leave a positive mark on this earth, and leave it in a better place than what it was when you first came in. I am here to help you as much as I possibly can, because you're here to better. And if you're here to better, then we're going to work together, because I want to better things as much as possible too.
Wrestling is it's like a great escapism, and I know you're like into games. And before we get into that, as another escapism, I do have one more question on that, because you would have better insider knowledge on this. And just me being a fan and going to events, I realized a lot of wrestling fans are really racist, and it's really uncomfortable. Like I was at an NXT event one time, and it was I forget the wrestler that was coming out, but it was like a Brazilian dude or something. And he comes out, I'm sitting in the crowd, and it's this white dude. He looks at the other white dude. He says, "Oh, yeah, back in my day, we used to boo these foreigns. You guys cheering them. Boo! Go back to your damn country, boy." And I felt really, really weird. And I think right before that, they said the national anthem. And it was this black dude who didn't stand up. And he looked at him. And he said something about Africa. I tried not to hear it, but I was like, yo, this is an insane event right here. And I've just seen little stuff on Twitter. But you being a wrestler, excuse me, have you ever encountered any like racism from fans or anything of that sort? Or from businesses or anything?
I would honestly have to fans, yes, fans 100% because they don't have to have a filter.
Yeah.
Companies and coworkers and things like that, like that's where things are a little bit different. It's just like if you were to work in a grocery store and you're out there stocking shelves and a customer says something to you that's racist, you can't really do anything about it but like tell a manager. Like that's all you can do. But if it's a coworker, you can approach them about it, you can talk to a manager, and you know that there's going to be repercussions and things like that. But as a fan, they can say whatever the hell they want to, man. I've heard some shit. Like, I've wrestled in South Carolina and some places that I maybe shouldn't have been. And I heard some things, but it's things that I've heard before. And like, I understand that words are just words. Like, I give power to words. Yeah. Like, if somebody comes to me with a derogatory term, I feel sorry for them because they can't come up with something a little bit more intelligent to call me. Like, they're having to fall back on something that is so redundant and irrelevant in today's day and age. The fact that I am black means nothing in today's day and age. I have gone to college. I have been in the military. I have traveled the world and done numerous things without people looking at the color of my skin, but the moral fiber that I have and what I was willing to bring to the table. And for somebody to still fall back on something as simple as skin color instead of what makes me as a man, it's absolutely ridiculous. But like, short answer, yes. I have received a lot of racism. I have received racism from fans, but not really so much from companies and things like that because they are a business. And they understand that times have changed. And I'm glad that we have had a lot of progression as black people, or just as people of color, because I can't say black people alone. Yeah. Because whether you're Mexican or Hispanic, Asian, South American, whatever it may be, like if you're not necessarily fair skinned, then you're being combated against in regards to your pursuit of happiness. And when shit, I'm high, dog. I forgot. I lost my train of thought. Let's see. When you're with the racist acts and things like that, it's sad. It really is sad, and like you were saying from before, with the comments that the guys were making at NXT, you laughed about it because it's baffling to still think that people talk in this aspect and mean it. Like people make racist jokes, but they don't necessarily have that heart behind it. There's a difference between saying a racist comment and then saying a racist comment with laughter behind it.
I want to say one thing. I don't mean, or I would say I'm gonna forget this. I want to say one thing on that right there. I just interviewed this guy. He's a black comedian, and he's on this show with a white comedian who makes a lot of racist type jokes. The white dude's really funny, but you can tell these racist jokes aren't from a harmful place. He thinks he's really funny. So the UFC fighter Michael Bisping was on the show, and the black comedian just started roasting Michael Bisping. And Michael Bisping started trying to make race jokes, but it just started coming off really like racist. He was like, "Dance, boy!" He was like, "Dance," and I'm like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" So yeah, I definitely get what you mean. There's definitely a fine line between that for sure.
And I feel that the big like distinct ways of like showing that you can have like racist jokes that are just funny, but you just have to understand that they are just comedic things being said.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle, his stand-ups that he had recently, where he was not just talking about racism, he was talking about just people's lifestyles.
All type of
and
stuff.
with that, he was just taking the stereotypes that are out there, that are being said, that follow what people do, and just making fun of those.
Yeah.
He wasn't necessarily making fun of the people themselves or what they stand for or what they do, but he was just making fun of a situation. And that's where people have to learn how to step back and be like, okay, he's not talking about me. He's not talking about my people. He's just making a fun remark for what's going on in today's day and age. Everybody's mad sensitive. Mad sensitive. That's the reason why his opening joke talked about everybody in that audience.
Yeah.
Because it's the truth. And everybody had that awkward laughter because they were like, ha ha ha. Oh, wait, I do that. And they were like, oh, wow, that's actually funny that I actually do that.
Yeah.
And then when I thank Dave Chappelle for the way that he did his stand-up, because now it's put people in the position where they have to think about the way that they are feeling when people are saying stuff. Because it's like, okay, is somebody saying this just to be funny, or are they saying it to actually put me down? And you can legit tell when somebody is trying to put you down. Somebody can come up to you and say hi with malice behind it, and you can tell that they're trying to put you down. But somebody can come up to you and say the funniest black joke, and they're white, and you just laugh, but because you know that it's lighthearted behind it. When you experience racism on certain levels and things like that, you can tell the difference between legit and just things being said. Like, I grew up with a lot of racist people, and I ended up becoming friends with them because I ended up becoming friends with some because they realized the error of their ways. I wouldn't say error of their way. Yeah, I would say error of their ways because it's not. You should never be racist towards somebody because of the color of their skin.
Yeah.
But they realized the error of their ways because, like, yo, they were like, I thought that you stole. I thought you only listened to rap. I thought that you were going to steal girlfriends, and all that kind of stuff. Like, and then they found out that I'm just a guy that likes comic books, video games, wrestling, and doing flips. And they're like, yo, you're cool. Like, can we be friends? And it took a strong mental state for me to be able to look past that and understand that there are people that can change once they have seen that there is a better way of living or a better way of thinking. Because racist thoughts and motives it doesn't make any sense. Like, in what way, shape, or form will taking out or putting down another race make you better? It just makes you look evil.
Fact.
That's my thought processes on racism in today's day, or in period. Like, it did nothing but strengthen every single ethnicity that was ever put in a racist position. Black people, Irish people, Asians, Latin Americans, like all of those, everybody that has been put in a position to where they were put down has done nothing but taken it, flipped it, strengthened themselves, and come out better on the other end, because now they're put in a position where I have this land of opportunity. And now I know that I have to work extra hard in order for me to do this. So now I'm going to be even better than you when I am put in those positions, because I've had to go through it a lot harder than you did. So I thank God for racism in a little bit of sense, because it's made a lot of people stronger because they have gone through these things. It sucks that they did have to go through these things, and I wish that it did not happen. But you have to look at things on the other side of the spectrum. People of color are now a very strong, driven, and motivated, I would say, group of people that want to not just help themselves, but help others. As long as they have that mind state, there are still selfish people out there because, of course, there are people that are just put on this earth to do evil. There's people here for good. There's people here for bad. Yin and yang. Good within bad, bad within good.
Hey man, if TED Talk ever called like any wrestling promotions or anything, hey, y'all know some niggas who want to do some TED Talks. I would hope they would say your name, man. I would hope they would say your name, man, because you've been in your bag this whole interview, man. You definitely need to do some type of like speaking engagement. I don't know if you ever thought about that, but you would definitely do really good at that.
Well, I got my friend here, my friend Chris. He runs my friend Chris and CT. They run a podcast called Reasonable Wrestling Podcast, and funny enough, speaking about energies, I met Chris chilling at the pool with my wife and my friend Ben Roy, and he was out walking his dog, checking the mail. Luckily, he was a fan of wrestling, and he knew who I was, so he ended up making his way through the pool and recognized me immediately. But he has two little dogs, Romeo and Juliet. As he was walking by, and I just said hi to the dogs, he felt my energy. He was cool. We sparked up, and then we became friends. We ended up speaking and found out that his cousin dated my cousin, and they know each other, and she told him to find out about me once he moved down here, so we were destined to meet anyway.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But with like that good energy aspect, every single time that him and I have gotten together, we've discussed possibilities in the future, and every single time we've put that good energy behind those little thought patterns that we've had, and they've slowly started to kind of manifest. And I work with him on his podcast. I've recently done my second interview with him, and we're looking to move over into a different realm where I have something along the same lines, something along the same lines, I would say. And but it's going to be more so in like a roundtable type aspect. And I'm hoping that it's called "Thank You for Being a Friend" because I'm a huge Golden Girls fan. And I feel that that's one thing that I would love for people to say to me when I do pass, or when I do get ready to pass, is thank you for being a friend because you have helped me with a lot of things in life. So that's the reason why I really hope that that what it is that I do ended up becoming something big, because I do hope that it can be a huge platform to help a lot of people.
I'm all ears, man. So I can't wait for you to drop that. I'm gonna be all ears. I don't want to keep you here for too long, but before we get out of here, gotta talk about games, man. I'm looking at your shirt. 2K MoCap, man. What is that about?
Oh, okay. So I've been a member of the 2K the MoCap team for 2K for about 3 years now. I've worked on the WWE video game since 2016. So the 2017 game all the way up until here recently, and it's awesome. Yeah, because I went to school for media arts and animation, so I got to see the back half of video games. And then being able to work in the motion capture aspect, you also still get to see that. So I'm up there talking to those guys, looking at all the things that they're doing and stuff, because it still fascinates me. I still love that. And so 2K is one thing that I really like to. I like to follow the brand and do things like that. I play 2K NBA a lot. I'm playing my player right now. Please don't ask me to hop on the sticks because I'm garbage.
I was definitely finna. You know.
We can play.
Okay.
Definitely play. But just take it a little bit easy on me. All I do is my player.
What system you got?
Huh?
What system you got?
I got PS4.
PS4. Okay. Yeah, I heard you say. I heard you had like huh?
You an Xbox man?
I got both. I got the the PS4 right there. You know what I'm saying? I got the Xbox in the back. You feel me, man? So
we gonna link up after this.
Definitely. No, you said you had like a little. You have like a game setup? Could you say you had like a something? You point to something in the background. Like, do you have like a set that you have?
Nah, I just got a big ass TV and my PlayStation. But like, I'm eventually hoping to move over into the realm of the gaming side, because that's something that I grew up on. I remember having a Nintendo growing up. The first that I ever played and beat was Super Mario 3. And it was on the original Nintendo. I was like 3 or 4, so I've been playing video games for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And it's nice to be able to be an adult and see all the amazing things that are out there with video games and the progression it's had. And also just, you can see the cool things that happen with it too, because it's allowing things to be broken down, because games are just fun.
They are.
I can get into. I find inspiration in everything. Whether it's a bad situation or a good situation, I always try to find some kind of silver lining to help push me along into something else. And I use video games, I use cartoons, anime, everything to try to do that. And video games is often an escape for me, but it's also a little bit of a motivator for me too. I always find something in there.
Wait, man. Last question for you for today, man. What games are you playing? And any cartoons that you would recommend that you've been watching recently, or something of a recent cartoon show that you got into? You're like, oh, that's a pretty good cartoon.
Let's see. All right, video game. Video games number one, NBA 2K20, of course. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I'm on that heavy. I'm actually gonna hop on the sticks here after I'm done with this. Then my wife and I, we play a whole lot of Little Big Planet and Mario Kart, Mario Party. I got a Switch as well. I try to play a little bit of everything because you want to escape in a lot of different. I don't play any wrestling games though. Oddly enough, I can play wrestling games. Don't really play this anymore.
Why not?
Because I do the moves. So I don't. It's weird. Like when you, it's kind of like what was it? Childish Gambino. Donald Glover said it the best in his stand up. It's like you don't see a Subway person come home and make a whole bunch of sandwiches.
Yeah.
Like you when you're done with your with work, you kind of want to step away from work and not have to think about it. And the sad part with wrestling is that we're constantly a part of this between social media and traveling, and then also just doing shows itself. We're constantly working, and being able to separate yourself by playing video games. That's why I play 2K, because I get to live a life that I'm not able to do. I'm 6'4", 210 pounds, dunking on motherfuckers, and I can't do that in real life. So I live a completely different life whenever I'm playing, whenever I'm on 2K and things like that. When I play wrestling, I don't want to be faking that. I'd rather just remain who I am and just move forward with that in itself.
Yeah. Cartoons. Any cartoons?
Cartoons. Woo. Well, huge Dragon Ball Z fan. Huge Dragon Ball Z fan. Always will be, no matter what. And that's honestly one of the big inspirations that I have in life, and one of the things that help push me into developing who I am. Another one that I really enjoy. What is it? The Adventures of Gumball. Yo, I love that show because it's a new age show, but they're also speaking about. They have a lot of subtle hits and things that are happening in today's day and age. Racism, prejudice, viewpoints on sexuality, things like that. And I really enjoy cartoons because they don't allow people to attach not human, but like real life aspects to it. Like, you don't have skin color. You can have a character that's a squirrel and have him being hated on by a rabbit, and it's the exact same premise as if it was a black and a white man, or a white man and a Mexican, or whatever it may be. So with cartoons, I really enjoy them because they're able to attack something at a very early age, which is happening with kids. If they're able to see early on that, be accepting of people for who they are and things like that at an early age, it prevents them from having those terrible ideologies later on in life because it's not being embedded in them at a young age.
Hey, man.
But yeah, my top cartoons, I would say.
Hey, man. I really enjoyed this. It's probably one of my favorite interviews of the year, man. I'm glad I can close out the year doing this. And also, you live in Florida. I'm in Florida, so it's good to close it out with a Florida thing. You know what I'm saying?
Time out. Where are you located?
I'm in Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. All right, I'm in Orlando.
Yeah, Orlando.
Now, I'll end up making my way through there at some point in time, and if I do, man, we definitely need to link up.
Definitely, man. Like I said, this has definitely been a very great conversation. I'm actually passing. I think I might be passing through Orlando tomorrow because I'm going to Miami for Art Basel. You ever heard of Art Basel?
No.
Oh man, you're sleep, man. That's something that I feel like wrestling needs to get involved with. I feel like wrestling would thrive at Art Basel. You know idea what that is, huh?
All right, when you make your way, because I have a day off tomorrow.
Okay.
You make your way through Orlando. Let me hit me up. You got my number and everything. So
I
hit
do.
me up and let me know what's going on because I have free time tomorrow. My
I'll
girl's
let
at
you, so Art Basel is basically this thing in Miami where it's like an all week event and it's art out there. It's a lot of things going on. You're just basically appreciating art. Then after Art Basel, you basically have every celebrity you can think of, from rappers to actors, just walking the street. They may be performing for like $5 or for free, or they may be. You got like a Adidas event out there where they're like showing off the new Adidas collection. I can just see wrestlers and wrestling events out there, kind of just like promoting wrestling the same way they do like little certain festivals. I see like an NXT, a pop up at like a rock festival or something like that. I can see a wrestling thing going on at Art Basel, and basically it is an art. I feel like wrestling is an art, you know, and you could just basically show off certain stuff. So yeah, Art Basel is it only happens in Miami, Switzerland, and Hong Kong. It's a very like it's a very like high tier thing. So yeah, it's good stuff, man.
all right. Well, I'm gonna definitely get that information from you because I want wrestling has been able to give me a very, very fruitful life. And hopefully, the next thing that I move over into, whether it be wrestling or acting, because that is an aspiration of mine later on in life, I hope that I can give back. And being able to help wrestling reach different platforms and things like that by going to Art Basel, that would be amazing. So I'm definitely going to take that information
Of
and pass
course.
it to as many people as I possibly can to hopefully start getting wrestling and other things that kind of fall into our forte, into things like that as well. So thank you for
Of
that
course.
information.
Hey man, for everybody watching right now, I appreciate you guys watching. Until next time, I say what I mean what I say. Haters are gonna hate, players are gonna play. And you guys holla at your boy.